Marriage is a great institution, but I'm not ready for an institution. When I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better. I'll try anything once, twice if I like it, 3 times to make sure. All discarded lovers should be given a second chance, but with somebody else. Look your best. Who said love is blind? A man can be short and dumpy in getting bald, but if he has fire, women will like him. It's not what I do, but the way I do it. It's not what I say, but the way I say it. I never loved another person the way I loved myself. I didn't discover curves, I only uncovered them. Between 2 evils, I always pick the one I never tried before. Cultivate your curves, they may be dangerous but they won't be avoided. Personality is the most important thing to an actress's success. I never worry about diets. The only carrots that interest me are the number you get in a diamond. If I asked for a cup of coffee, someone would search for the double meaning. Save a boyfriend for a rainy day, and another, in case it doesn't rain. 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is 4, and 5 will get you 10 if you know how to work it. Too much of a good thing can be taxing. An ounce of performance is worth pounds of promises. Say what you want about long dresses, but they cover a multitude of shins. Love isn't an emotion or an instinct, it's an art. Love conquers all things except poverty and toothache. It is better to be looked over than overlooked. I believe that it's better to be looked over than it is to be overlooked. Whenever I'm caught between 2 evils, I take the one I've never tried. Personally, I like 2 types of men, domestic and foreign. I used to be Snow White, but I drifted. Don't keep a man guessing too long, he's sure to find the answer somewhere else. 10 men waiting for me at the door. Send one of them home, I'm tired. It isn't what I do, but how I do it. It isn't what I say, but how I say it, and how I look when I do it and say it. It's not the men in my life that count, it's the life in my men. I'm no model lady. A model's just an imitation of the real thing. Those who are easily shocked should be shocked more often. I generally avoid temptation unless I can't resist it. Too much of a good thing can be wonderful. The best way to hold a man is in your arms. Personality is the glitter that sends your little gleam across the footlights and the orchestra pit into that big black space where the audience is. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. When I'm good I'm very, very good, but when I'm bad, I'm better. Right now I think censorship is necessary. The things they're doing and saying in films right now just shouldn't be allowed. There's no dignity anymore, and I think that's very important. A dame that knows the ropes isn't likely to get tied up. Any time you got nothing to do, and lots of time to do it, come on up. Keep a diary, and someday it'll keep you. A woman in love can't be reasonable, or she probably wouldn't be in love. A man has $100 and you leave him with $2, that's subtraction. I only have, yes, men around me. Who needs no men? A man in the house is worth two in the street. It ain't no sin if you crack a few laws now and then, just so long as you don't break any. When choosing between two evils, I always like to try the one I've never tried before. His mother should have thrown him out and kept the stork. I've been in more laps than a napkin. I see you're a man with ideals. I better be going before you've still got them. He's the kind of man a woman would have to marry to get rid of. Every man I meet wants to protect me. I can't figure out what from. To err is human, but it feels divine. Opportunity knocks for every man, but you have to give a woman a ring. I believe in censorship. I made a fortune out of it. She's the kind of girl who climbed the ladder of success wrong by wrong. I always say, keep a diary and someday it'll keep you. Give a man a free hand and he'll run it all over you. I only like two kinds of men, domestic and imported. When women go wrong, men go right after them. The score never interested me, only the game. I enjoyed the courtroom as just another stage, but not so amusing as Broadway. Love thy neighbor, and if he happens to be tall, debonair and devastating, it will be that much easier. I like a man who's good, but not too good, for the good die young, and I hate a dead one. It takes two to get one in trouble. I like restraint, if it doesn't go too far. Don't marry a man to reform him, that's what reform schools are for. I'm a woman of very few words, but lots of action. It's hard to be funny when you have to be clean. Virtue has its own reward, but no sale at the box office. I meet a man with $1,000 and leave him with two, that's the meaning of subtraction. The best way to learn to be a lady is to see how other ladies do it. Too many girls follow the line of least resistance, but a good line is hard to resist. Money is of value for what it buys, and in love it buys time, place, intimacy, comfort, and a private corner alone. I've no time for broads who want to rule the world alone. Without men, who'd do up the zipper on the back of your dress? I freely chose the kind of life I led because I was convinced that a woman has as much right as a man to live the way she does if she does no actual harm to society. Tira begins to sing I'm no angel to him as the screen fades. Baby, I can warm you with this love of mine. I'm no angel. Ah, let me feel my fingers running through your hair, I can give you kisses. Tira, whatever you're thinkin', you're wrong. I only like him like a brother. You ain't got nothin' to worry about. Say listen you. A better dame than you once called me a liar and they had to sew her up in 12 different places. You're lucky I'm a little more refined than I used to be. And if you was as much a lady as I am, you'd get out of here before I get real sore. Alicia, you haven't a streak of decency in you. Tira, I don't show my good points to strangers. I'll trouble you to scram. Come up and see me sometime. I have never been able to sleep with anyone. I require a full-size bed so that I can lie in the middle of it and extend my arms spread eagle on both sides without being obstructed. Pour him out of here. Goodness, what beautiful diamonds. Goodness had nothing to do with it. Love is the only industry which can't operate on a 5-day week. Life's just a merry-go-round. Come on up. You might get a brass ring. Reason was nowhere, time was an immovable object nailed high on the wall, except where the world kept shop. Sometimes it seems to me I've known so many men that the FBI ought to come to me first to compare fingerprints. I'm the kinda girl who works for Paramount by day, and Fox all night. A real farmer. He spent his childhood in the wheat, and his marriage in the hay. All pleasures should be taken in great leisure and are worth going into in detail. Love is not like eating a quick lunch with one's hat on. All the raves were just words. You don't want to let words confuse you. Words come cheap. Imagine censors that wouldn't let you sit in a man's lap. I've been in more laps than a napkin. Diamonds talk, and I can stand listenin' to 'em often. What's life good for anyhow? The minute you crawl into the world for no good reason of your own, it's got you licked 4 ways from the ace. Live close, visit often. Girls, give all your gentlemen friends an even break, even if you have to break them in the attempt. Just a little sheep dip. Panacea for all stomach ailments. Too many Broadway actors in motion pictures lost their grip on success, had a feeling that none of it had ever happened on that sun-drenched coast, that the coast itself did not exist, there was no California. It had dropped away like a hasty dream, and nothing could ever have been like the things they thought they remembered. Men. Sure, I've known lots of them. But I never found one I liked well enough to marry. Besides, I've always been busy with my work. Marriage is a career in itself, and to make a success of it you've got to keep working at it. So until I can give the bite of existence did not cut into one in Hollywood. Good women are no fun. The only good woman I can recall in history was Betsy Ross. And all she ever made was a flag. Brains are an asset, if you hide them. If you put your foot in it, be sure it's your best foot. Words should be used as tools of communication and not as a substitute for action. No gold digging for me, I take diamonds. We may be off the gold standard someday. Don't ever make the same mistake twice unless it pays. I'd like to see Paris before I die. He who hesitates is a damned fool. Some of the wildest men make the best pets. I'm single because I was born that way. The censors wouldn't even let me sit on a guy's lap, and I've been on more laps than a table napkin. A girl in the convertible is worth 5 in the phone book. Poor Mary Ann. She gave the guy an inch and now he thinks he's a ruler. A man has more character in his face at 40 than at 20, he has suffered longer. Women are as old as they feel, and men are old when they lose their feelings. I believe that one day the world will judge the witch hunt against homosexuals just as harshly as it judges the Spanish Inquisition and the Holocaust. To her British lover about to climb in bed with 80-something May, she said that she hoped soon to be able to say what Paul Revere said, "The British are coming." This was the last one-liner May ever uttered on film. Marriage is like a book. The whole story takes place between the covers. Is that a pistol in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? She made this remark in February 1936, at the railway station in Los Angeles upon her return from Chicago, when a Los Angeles police officer was assigned to escort her home. Don't come crawlin' to a man for love, he likes to get a run for his money. On the metaphysical, I knew in some marvelous way I had touched the hem of the unknown. And being me, I wanted to lift that hemline a little bit more. March isn't the only thing that's in like a lion and out like a lamb. My advice to those who think they have to take off their clothes to be a star is, once you're boned, what's left to create the illusion? Let 'em wonder. I never believed in giving them too much of me. It's hard to find a good man, but it's good to find a hard one. In my long and colorful career, one thing stands out: I have been misunderstood. Never ask a man where he has been. I only read biographies, metaphysics, and psychology. I can dream up my own fiction. I never set out to make men a career, it just happened that way. No one can have everything, so you have to try for what you want most. I never said it would be easy, I only said it would be worth it. Dress gives one the outward sign from which people in general can, and often do, judge upon the inward state of mind and feelings. I'm no angel, but I've spread my wings a bit. Positive thoughts generate positive feelings and attract positive life experiences. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. I don't know a lot about politics, but I can recognize a good party man when I see one. You may think you're in love when the passions of sex get hold of you, but if you didn't love the man before, you won't love him after. Like him, maybe, but not love him. A man's kiss is his signature. Men are my hobby. If I ever got married I'd have to give it up. When it comes to finances, remember that there are no withholding taxes on the wages of sin. Men are all alike, except the one you've met who's different. I speak 2 languages, Body and English. Give a man free hands, and you'll know where to find them. Getting married is like trading in the adoration of many for the sarcasm of one. A man in love is like a clipped coupon, it's time to cash in. Kiss and make up, but too much makeup has ruined many a kiss. Women with pasts interest men because they hope history will repeat itself. I've been things and seen places. I have found men who didn't know how to kiss. I've always found time to teach them. I made myself platinum, but I was born a dirty blonde. The best way to behave is to misbehave. You can do what you want, but saving love doesn't bring any interest. Well, the end of another busy day. I can't wait till I get back to bed. If that don't work, I'll try to sleep. When in doubt, take a bath. I go for two kinds of men. The kind with muscles, and the kind without. Don't let a man put anything over on you except an umbrella. You gotta get up early in the morning to catch a fox and stay up late at night to get a mink. The finest woman that ever walked the streets. It's all right for a perfect stranger to kiss your hand as long as he's perfect. I've been things and I've seen places. A good man is hard to find, but you'll mostly find him asleep. I'm a good woman for a bad man. I like a man what takes his time. Women like a man with a past, but they prefer a man with a present. You are never too old to become younger. Marriage? I ain't got time for a husband or child. All my life I've looked after myself as if I was my own child. You may admire a girl's curves on the first introduction, but the second meeting shows up new angles. Anything worth doing is worth doing slowly. The curve is more powerful than the sword. Love is what you make it and who you make it with. Why don't you come up and have a little scotch and sofa? Dating means two things, disillusionment or a racing heart. Sex with love is the greatest thing in life. But sex without love, that's not so bad either. We're intellectual opposites. Well, I'm intellectual and you're opposite. Ladies who play with fire must remember that smoke gets in their eyes. There are no good girls gone wrong, just bad girls found out. Men are like linoleum floors. Lay 'em right and you can walk all over them for years. Judge, are you trying to show contempt for this court? Mae West, I was doing my best to hide it. I consider sex a misdemeanor, the more I miss, demeanor I get. Let men see what's coming to them, and women will get what's coming to them. Don't forget, honey. Never let one man worry your mind. Find M, fool M and forget M. When you get the personality, you don't need the nudity. A hard man is good to find. I don't like myself, I'm crazy about myself. For a long time I was ashamed of the way I lived. Did I reform, you ask? No. I'm not ashamed anymore. Let's get out of these wet clothes and into a dry martini. Don't cry for a man who's left you, the next one may fall for your smile. I have always felt a gift diamond shines so much better than one you buy for yourself. I have never loved a man as much as I have loved myself. If a little is great, and a lot is better, then way too much is just about right. Everything's in the mind. That's where it all starts. Knowing what you want is the first step toward getting it. Women are like roads. The more curves they have, the more dangerous they are. I like my clothes tight enough to show I'm a woman, but loose enough to show I'm a lady. Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Love is like a booger, you pick and pick at it. Then when you get it you wonder how to get rid of it. I've always taken men just as I found M, and thank heavens I've been able to find M. Everyone has the right to run his own life even if you're heading for a crash. What I'm against is blind flying. Your real security is yourself. You know you can do it, and they can't ever take that away from you. Sex is emotion in motion. Curve, the loveliest distance between 2 points. I wrote the story myself. It's about a girl who lost her reputation and never missed it. Never mind about the 6 feet. Let's talk about the 7 inches. It's easy to get married, but hard to stay that way. Men are my life, diamonds are my career. I always did like a man in uniform. And that one fits you grand. Why don't you come up sometime and see me? Men would wither and custom stale them, but diamonds. Ah, They were crystallized immortality. Good theater is not what is expected, but what surprises. Hiring someone to write your autobiography is like hiring someone to take a bath for you. Beulah, peel me a grape. Why don't you come up sometime and see me? I'm home every evening. Come up. I'll tell your fortune. Ah, you can be had. I've always had a weakness for foreign affairs. The bite of existence did not cut into one in Hollywood. Life elsewhere was real and slippery and struggled in the arms like a big fish dying in air. Hollywood was like a mouse being followed by a cat called television. I know so much about men because I went to night school. I started out as Snow White, but then I drifted. I've been in Who's Who, and I know what's what, but it'll be the first time I ever made the dictionary. I never needed Panavision and stereophonic sound to woo the world. I did it in black and white on a screen the size of a postage stamp. Honey, that's talent. More people saw me than saw Napoleon, Lincoln, and Cleopatra. I was better known than Einstein and Picasso. I changed the fashion of 2 continents. The style of the gay 90s became the rage. Women were trying to walk and talk like me. Women became more sex-conscious. Sex was out in the open and fun. You know, it was a toss-up whether I go in for diamonds or sing in the choir. The choir lost. Sometimes I don't drink so the next day I can remember having fun. Well-behaved women do not make history. Dennis Thatcher, husband of Margaret Thatcher, when asked who wore the pants in his house, said I do, and I also wash and iron them. I only like 2 kinds of men, domestic and foreign. When you think about it, what other playwrights are there besides O'Neill, Tennessee, and me? Men are not realists, only women are. Love is banality to all outsiders. Ice is nice at any price. It's not what you can do, but the way you do it that counts. Women want certain things in marriage: the right to a title and a front seat in the lap of luxury. Always remember, honey. A good motto is, take all you can get and give as little as possible. He's the kind of man who picks his friends to pieces. How tall are you, big boy? 6'9". Let's go up to my place and talk about the 9 inches. Never ask a man where's he's been. If he's out on legitimate business, he doesn't need an alibi. And, girls, if he has been out on illegitimate business, it's your own fault. I believe in the single standard, for men and women. Brains are an asset to the woman in love who's smart enough to hide them. Some women pick men to marry and others pick them to pieces. Dates in calendar are closer than they appear. Time is what keeps everything from happening at once. Keep a diary, and someday it'll keep you. Flattery will get you everywhere. I saw what a mess a lot of people could make of their lives when they're smitten. Some of them go temporarily insane. They find a person who they think holds the key to their happiness, the only key to their happiness. My work has always been my greatest happiness. Woman, you certainly know the way to a man's heart. Mae West, funny, too, 'cause I don't know how to cook. One more drink and I'll be under the host. It's not what you say, but how you say it.